When did you realize a stranger was not who they led you to believe? One time I went to the bar with one of my friends. I had just turned 21 and hadn't been to many bars until then. My friend was drinking on the way to the bar and was already pretty drunk when we arrived. A cute girl made conversation with me and my friend at the bar. She said her name was Candace, and I noticed she had incredibly bright red hair. I assumed she dyed it. It was pretty but unnatural, but I didn't think much of it at the time. This girl was flirting with me and my friend. She could tell my friend was already very drunk. To be honest, I played along like I was drunk already, too, since it seemed to be working for my friend. I didn't know if she was just trying to get free drinks, so I told her we didn't have much money. She offered to buy us drinks. She kept buying us drinks, and I became confused about who she liked between me and my friend. My friend went to the bathroom, but before he came back, he was kicked out by the bouncers. He was way too intoxicated. Candace and I went outside with him. She kept telling him to go home with her. He was so out of it he could barely answer her. I told her he was too drunk and that I couldn't let him go anywhere. I didn't want him to wake up hungover in some random house with no car and no idea what happened. Candace kept pushing it, saying that she would take care of him, but I told her no because I had to stay with him. I was more sober than him. He was my responsibility. I told her he was only going anywhere if I tagged along. I assumed she thought I was jealous, but my friend could barely stand and lost interest in Candace at that point. She immediately started flirting with me, offered to get my friend a taxi to drive him home, and said we could go to her place alone. At this point, I had a few drinks and was pretty buzzed, so I agreed. We took my friend to the taxi and walked to her car. I stumbled slightly on the way to her car. "Wow, you're pretty drunk, huh?" she said, smiling as she held onto my arm. "Yeah," I said. I don't know why, but I just felt slightly shy and anxious. Everything was just happening too easily for me, so I felt uneasy. We got in her car and drove down the street. "Wanna stop at the liquor store and get some more to drink? I'll buy it, so don't worry about paying," she offered. I didn't want to drink any more than I already did. I was already buzzed and wanted to be able to carry myself throughout the rest of the night. Sometimes, I made myself look stupid when I was drunk, so I didn't want to ruin anything with Candace more than I already did by telling her my friend was too drunk. I told her I was already drunk enough, but she insisted. I didn't want to seem lame, so I told her to get me a pint of liquor with some apple juice to chase it. She went into the store and came out with a lot more than just a pint. I assumed she wanted to drink more, too, and that's why she got a fifth instead of a pint. We passed the bottle back and forth on the car ride, but she only took tiny sips. I tried to take tiny sips, but she kept passing me the bottle and telling me to drink. I somehow managed to drink all of my apple juice and pretend to drink the bottle by spitting the liquor in the apple juice bottle. I tossed the apple juice bottle full of liquor out the window before she saw it. I didn't want her to know I was acting drunker than I was. She actually believed I was sloppy drunk when I was simply buzzed. I took a couple more sips of liquor and finished the bottle. Throughout the car ride, I called her the wrong name a couple of times to get a reaction out of her. She didn't react to it. She just kept letting me call her Carla without correcting me. For some reason, I thought she initially lied to me about her name. We drove up to her house. I pretended to trip and stumbled into her front door. She helped me walk inside by holding me up. She opened her front door, which was unlocked. We walked into her house, she closed her front door and then locked it. I thought that was strange, but I assumed she didn't want anyone walking in on us. I told her that I had to use the bathroom. I walked into her bathroom, locked the door, and looked in the mirror. I just felt strange. I felt like something was off. I felt myself becoming more drunk from finishing the bottle earlier. I turned on the sink to make a noise and made myself puke up the liquor I drank. I flushed, went to the sink, and started drinking the tap water out of my hands to sober up. I just didn't want to be drunk, but I still wanted to hook up with Candace, so I wanted to pretend to be drunk. I turned the sink off, and I could hear her talking to someone. He's as drunk as ever. He can barely stand up. You do it. Who was she talking to? And what did they want to do? I walked out of the bathroom and into the living room. I saw her walking into another room when I stepped into the living room. All I could see was the back of her head, that strange, bright red hair entering another room. I didn't see her face or anything. I just saw her kind of walk swiftly into the room. The living room was pretty dark. "Hey, where are you going?" I slurred like I was drunk. She walked back into the dark living room and up to me. "Let's go in my room," she said. I looked at her bright red hair and then into her eyes. They were different. Her face was different. It was another girl with the same hair. That's when I realized. It was another girl with the same wig on. It was a wig the whole time. She had changed it with the girl from earlier for some reason. My heart felt like it stopped. But I tried to look like I had no idea it was a different girl. This is when I knew something was very wrong. I kind of smiled at her and told her I just needed to use the bathroom one more time, and I apologized for being so intoxicated. I knew I needed to keep up the act if I wanted her to believe me. She said, "It's fine. Just hurry up in there." I went into the bathroom and locked the door. I heard her whisper something to someone again. This time, I heard a male voice whisper back. I honestly didn't concentrate on listening to exactly what she said. Something sketchy was going on, and I needed to get out of that house immediately. I opened the bathroom window, jumped straight out of it, and ran faster than I had ever run in my life. I didn't look back. I just ran through their backyard, jumped the fence, ran through someone else's backyard, hit the road, and ran toward the main road. I kept running down the main road until I saw a 24-hour convenience store. I ran into the store and stood straight at the front of the store in front of the camera. I called a taxi and went home. The next day after this incident, I returned to the house with a couple of friends to see what was going on. Nobody was there. No cars, no people, nothing. Just an empty house. I ended up finding out that the house was a summer rental, and whoever those people were, they broke into that house and used it for that one night and never came back. I try to think about what happened that night. What was she, or they, planning that night? Why did she tell me a fake name? Why was she trying to get my friend and I so drunk? I thought maybe it was a robbery, but she kept spending money on us. She kept buying us drinks and even paid for my friend's taxi cab. And mostly, why did she wear a wig that she gave to another girl to wear? Who was she talking to? What did it mean? And what was in that room they tried to lure me into?